There is a silent killer inside your home right now, and it is not a disease. It is the polite smile you gave yesterday when you actually wanted to scream. If you are somewhere around 40 years old or approaching that middle chapter of your life, you might be noticing something truly terrifying happening to you. The things that used to make you feel like a good person, saying yes when you desperately wanted to say no, keeping the peace at family gatherings, putting everyone else's comfort before your own, are starting to make you feel physically sick. You look at your phone, it lights up with a name. Before you even read the text message, your stomach drops. A heavy, dark feeling sits right on your chest. You might think you are just tired, or stressed from work, or going through a temporary phase. You are not tired. You are experiencing a psychological rebellion. Your soul is staging a violent coup. And if you do not understand exactly why this is happening to you right now, the entire second half of your life will be spent fighting a losing war against your own mind. Think about a totally normal Tuesday. You wake up, you make the coffee, you get ready for the day. You check in with your partner, your kids, or your boss to see who needs you today. You spend your entire morning adjusting your mood to match the moods of the people around you. If they are stressed, you become soothing. If they are demanding, you become compliant. But underneath that quiet, normal morning, a very quiet voice whispers, "Whose life is this? Because it does not feel like mine." You instantly dismiss the thought. You feel guilty for even having it. After all, you have a decent life. You have a roof over your head. You are a nice, dependable person. But that is exactly where the trap snaps shut. We need to look very closely at what it actually means to be nice, and why your niceness is the exact thing destroying you from the inside out. The famous psychologist Carl Jung believed that we spend the first half of our lives building a mask. We look at our parents, our teachers, and our society, and we figure out very quickly what they want from us in order to keep us safe. Let's be deeply honest for a moment. If you grew up in a home where anger was dangerous or unpredictable, you learned to be perfectly, invisibly quiet. If you grew up in a home where love was conditional, where you were only praised when you got good grades or did your chores, you learned to become an incredibly helpful machine, so people would not abandon you. Every single time you hid a real part of yourself to make someone else comfortable, Jung said you put that piece of yourself into an invisible bag that you dragged behind you. He called it your shadow. For 20, 30, or 40 years, you have been violently stuffing your true feelings, your anger, your boundaries, and your deepest desires into that heavy bag. You became the reliable friend who listens to everyone's drama, but never shares your own. You became the employee who stays late without extra pay, because you want to be a team player. You became the partner who silently compromises on where to live, how to spend money, and how to spend the weekends. You thought you were building a good life. But let's look at a practical, everyday situation. Imagine you are out to dinner with a friend. They choose the restaurant. They talk for an hour about their relationship problems, barely asking how you are. When the food finally comes, your meal is completely cold, or the order is entirely wrong. The waiter comes over and asks how everything is. What do? You smile a perfect, practiced smile and say, "It's wonderful, thank you so much." You eat the cold food. You do not want to cause a fuss. You do not want to ruin your friend's mood. You tell yourself that you are just being kind and easygoing. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche had a very different, very harsh name for this behavior. He called it slave morality. Nietzsche warned that human beings who are too afraid or too emotionally exhausted to stand up for themselves will often trick themselves into believing that their weakness is actually a moral virtue. You tell yourself you are being patient or selfless or forgiving. But if we strip away the polite excuses, you were not being selfless with the waiter or your friend. You were just terrified of conflict. You were scared of being seen as difficult. This is a very painful realization. It stings to hear it, but it is deeply necessary if you want to be free. For 40 years, your goodness has not been true goodness. It has been a trauma response. It was a survival strategy. And your body cannot maintain a lie forever. This brings us to the core mystery. Why is everything falling apart right now? Why are you suddenly so irritable? Why is your soul demanding revenge in your 40s? Imagine you are standing in a swimming pool, holding a giant inflated beach ball underwater. For the first few hours it takes some effort, but you are strong and you can manage it. Now imagine holding that ball underwater for 40 straight years. Your arms are trembling, your muscles are completely giving out, you are exhausted to your bones. Reaching midlife is the exact moment your arms simply fail. The beach ball explodes to the surface, and it hits you right in the face. This is the sudden, blinding anger you feel when your spouse asks a simple question like, "What's for dinner?" This is the sudden urge to quit your job, block everyone's phone number, and drive away in the middle of the night. This is why you are suddenly crying in your car in the grocery store parking lot, staring at the steering wheel, unable to go inside. The energy required to hold down your true self is gone. Your battery is at zero. You are experiencing the violent return of everything you sacrificed for other people. But what exactly is the physical cost of keeping that beach ball underwater for so long? Science has finally caught up with what ancient philosophers knew centuries ago. When you constantly betray your own needs to please others, your brain registers this as a threat to your survival. Every time you type out a text message setting a boundary, feel guilty, erase it, and type, "No problem, I can do it." Instead, your nervous system experiences a micro-trauma. You live in a chronic state of mild, invisible panic. Cortisol, the stress hormone, floods your system day after day. This is why people-pleasers frequently suffer from mysterious physical ailments in midlife. You might have chronic back pain, mysterious digestive issues, a jaw that constantly clenches in your sleep, or severe insomnia. You wake up at 3 a.m. with a racing heart, thinking about an email you need to send. Your mind is desperately trying to be polite, but your body is screaming the truth. As psychological research tells us, your body is keeping the score. So, what do you do now? If you just let go of the beach ball, won't it destroy everything you've built? Won't you lose your friends? Won't your family be angry with you? I promise to answer that. But first, I need you to visualize a mental map to help reorient yourself. Imagine you are looking at a beautiful blueprint for a large, expensive house. You spend your 20s and 30s building it brick by brick. You build a massive, luxurious guest room to make your parents comfortable. You build a grand dining room to entertain all your friends. You build a massive playroom for your children. But after 40 years, you finally walk inside this magnificent house and you look around in horror. You realize you forgot to build a bedroom for yourself. You are sleeping on the cold floor in the hallway of your own life, while everyone else rests comfortably in the rooms you built for them. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote deeply about something he called the inner citadel. This is a fortress inside your mind that belongs only to you. It is a sacred, private space where your true thoughts, your peace, and your worth reside, and no one else is allowed to enter it without your strict permission. When you live as a people-pleaser, you take the keys to your inner citadel and you hand them out to everyone you meet. You let their opinions, their bad moods, their expectations, and their demands walk right through your front door and live inside your most private space, completely rent-free. Taking back those keys feels like an act of violence. Not to you, but to the people who are used to living inside your head. When you finally start setting boundaries, the people around you will not applaud your personal growth. Let's be very clear about that. They will be confused, some will be deeply offended. They will say things like, "You have changed," or "You are being so selfish lately," or "Why are you acting so difficult?" This is the exact moment most people panic, drop their boundaries, and run right back to people-pleasing. The guilt becomes too heavy to bear, but you must profoundly change your understanding of what that guilt actually is. We are taught that guilt is a compass that tells us when we have done something wrong. But when you are a recovering people-pleaser, guilt is a liar. That guilt is not a signal that you are harming someone. That guilt is simply the growing pain of a new, authentic identity stretching its legs for the first time. Let's look at a very practical, everyday example of how to survive this transition. Let's say your family expects you to host a massive holiday dinner, exactly like you have done for the past 10 years. You do the shopping, the cooking, the cleaning, and the entertaining. The mere thought of it makes you want to crawl into bed and hide. This year, your soul demands something different. You take a deep breath and you send a simple message to the family group chat. "I love you all so much, but I do not have the energy to host the big dinner this year. Let's meet at a restaurant, or someone else is welcome to take a turn hosting." Instantly, the phone starts ringing. Your mother is upset and sighing heavily. Your siblings are annoyed because now they have to do the work. Your chest tightens, your heart races. Your immediate, deeply ingrained instinct is to apologize, smooth it over, and say, "Never mind. I am so sorry. I was just stressed. I will do it." Stop. Breathe. Look at the situation clearly. In that exact second, you have a choice between two pains. You cannot escape pain here, but you can choose which one you suffer. Option 1 is the pain of their temporary disappointment. Option 2 is the pain of betraying yourself for the 101st time. Choose their disappointment. Let them be mad. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them figure out their own holiday plans. You must realize a fundamental truth of adulthood. You are not responsible for managing the emotional weather of other adults. If they are cold, let them put on their own jacket. You do not need to burn your entire life to the ground to find your soul. You do not need to quit your job, leave your family, and move to a cabin in the woods to find out who you are. You just need to start dealing in tiny, everyday truths. It starts with mastering the most beautiful, complete sentence in the English language, the word no. No, I cannot take on that extra project at work. My plate is full. No, I do not want to go out to that loud event tonight. I am staying home. No, I am not available to talk on the phone right now. No, that does not work for me. As you start doing this, something miraculous and incredibly painful will happen. The false friends, the ones who only loved you for what you could do for them, the ones who loved your compliance, not your character, will disappear. Let them go. Do not chase them. They were never drinking from your cup. They were only drinking the water you poured for them. The moment the pouring stops, they move on to the next person they can use. But the people who truly love you, the ones who love the weird, flawed, honest, actual you, will stay. They might take a moment to adjust to the new rules, but they will stay. And for the first time in your life, you will experience the profound relief of being loved for who you are, rather than what you provide. Right now you might be grieving. You might be looking back at your 20s and 30s with a bitter taste in your mouth, thinking, "I wasted all that time. I lost my youth playing a supporting character in someone else's movie." But nature does not waste anything. Think about a caterpillar. Before it becomes a butterfly, it does not just grow wings. It wraps itself in the darkness of a cocoon, and its entire body dissolves into absolute chaotic mush. It must completely lose its old form before it can build something capable of flight. The deep exhaustion, the anger, and the heavy dread you feel right now is not the end of your story. It is the cocoon. The resentment that is bubbling up inside you is not toxic. It is actually a deeply spiritual compass. Your anger is pointing directly to the things you actually care about, the boundaries you desperately need to set, and the peace you finally deserve. Do not numb this midlife rebellion. Do not drown it in alcohol, or endless scrolling on your phone, or buying things you don't need. Sit with it. Listen to it. Respect it. Your soul's revenge was never about destroying your life. It was about destroying the cage you built, so the real you could finally walk free. You have not lost 40 years of your life. You have just spent them gathering the exact strength, the exact pain, and the exact wisdom required to finally, truly meet yourself. If this message resonated with that quiet, heavy feeling in your chest, do not let this realization slip away into the endless noise of the internet. Subscribe to this channel, because in our next video, we are going to dive deep into the exact psychological tools you need to stop feeling guilty when you finally start saying no. We will break down how to rewire your brain to handle other people's disappointment, so you can fiercely protect your inner peace without ever feeling like a bad person again. Take a deep breath. Drop the heavy bag. Your real life is just beginning.